Hi everyone, thanks for joining our first ever webinar, our live stream for ESS. Our apologies about yesterday. There were some external technical issues that with the best will in the world it was not going to happen. But thank you for joining today and we'll kick off. So the first one, our first session is going to be exercise in lockdown. Now this is very top level. I am accredited in sports nutrition, so if any of you are training in any specific event for what you may be doing after lockdown, please do get in touch by the email address at the end of this presentation. So just to start off with a stat, 1 in 3 men and 1 in 2 women are not active enough for good health. Now this was before lockdown, and I feel really it'll be, you'll swing one way or the other. You'll either do more exercise or you'll not do any at all, and hopefully you'll get some tips on how you can incorporate this into your lifestyle and make it work for you. Now, there are lots of benefits of exercise. It helps us maintain a healthy weight. So basically, we need to consume enough calories to sustain our weight. However, if we overconsume, exercise, sort of that credit debit thing, it can help us kind of lose the weight. So it does help. It also lowers the risk of developing heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and stroke, which also comes from being overweight. You're more susceptible to those health problems. And it helps us build stronger musculoskeletal systems. So by the age of 18, we will have reached our peak bone mass. As we get older, this starts to downgrade or get less, in particular in females post-menopause. Now, exercise helps us to strengthen our muscles, which holds everything together, as well as help maintain and build bone mineral density. Another benefit. There's also lots of psychological benefits. So you'll have heard of the happy hormones, and these are released when we exercise. It can also improve sleep quality. Now, some would argue that, exercising before bedtime, it kind of lifts your mood so you don't kind of want to go to bed. But overall, you may become more tired through the exercise that you've taken, and eventually you may have a better night's sleep. So how much exercise are we recommended to do per week? Now, the Chief Medical Officer, the NHS and government recommend that we aim for 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity activity a week. Now, what this really amounts to is around 30 minutes per day, or you can do it all in one go. Up to you. They also recommend that for at least 2 days a week, we do strength and conditioning sort of training. So again, that's like weight-bearing exercises and helps tone our muscles, strengthen them, and helps build our, keep strong bones as well. They also suggest that we reduce long periods sitting down with some activity. Now, for those of us that are, kind of working from home, it is really important that we don't just sit locked in a room all day and don't move. So hopefully you'll get some tips of what to do after this presentation. In terms of the intensity, just to explain this a little bit. So strength exercises, they will increase muscle strength, size, power, and endurance through using your body weight. So if you were doing a press up, for example, or working against resistance, so if you had some free weights that would help, or using the machines in the gym when we're out of lockdown. Moderate intensity exercise, then this is where the heart is raised just a little. You start to breathe a little bit faster, but you can hold a conversation. So an example would be a brisk walk. Vigorous intensity then is where you start to breathe really fast, really hard. You can't hold a conversation, and it's more running up the stairs, sprinting. I think you get the picture. Now, in terms of exercise in lockdown, I feel there are 2 approaches you can take, and both are really important and should work together to incorporate or burn those extra calories. One is to incorporate it into your daily tasks. So that would be, or I'll explain in a little minute, sorry. And the second is to take time out to do a form of exercise. And both, as I said, have their own benefits. So the household gym. So this is where you're trying to fit exercise into your daily routine. So my suggestions, but I'm sure there are many more. First one is to jog up and down the stairs. So if you live in a two-story house, you have to go upstairs anyway. So why not push it a little bit and kind of try and get faster going up the stairs? That will burn a few extra calories. Scott, when cooking or washing up, again, you may feel a bit stupid whenever you start doing this, but again, that's helping tone the muscles as well. If you don't have any weights, I myself don't have any free weights, which I'm trying to do these YouTube videos. So if you use bottles, empty bottles, fill them up with water. They can be used as weights. Obviously small weights, but they still will make a difference. If you're working from home and you're taking loads of calls, why not walk around the house? If you have a garden, go out in the garden and take the call that way. And again, that's kind of just keeping you active rather than sitting for long periods of time. This may seem quite silly, this one, but it is still burning calories. If you're making a cake or anything where it's kind of you're whisking, why not use a hand whisk rather than the electric one? Again, another suggestion, heel rises. So this is building your calf muscles, heel rises when you're cooking or washing up. And gardening, if you're fortunate enough to have a garden, why don't you try and kind of get that sorted? We have more time at home. The weather has been quite nice, and that will also help, your mind as well as your body, because you'll be burning extra calories, but you'll be out in the fresh air. Now, taking time out to exercise, it's another way of kind of lifting our mood. As I was saying, we release endorphins when we exercise. It is a great way to refocus and lift the mood. You can make it a family event. So, if you've got a dog, why not take the dog for a walk, maybe more frequently than one is used to. I'm sure they'll be happy about that. If you've got a bike, why don't you go for a cycle, or even just a jog, wherever, you're able to go running. It also, kind of potentially has a better focus, or you'll have a better focus to improve, your health, as well as you may see more results than kind of the exercises that you may incorporate into your day-to-day routine. And, it really doesn't need to be high intensity either. Just kind of getting out there and moving is good. Now, these are just some useful resources, because I know that gyms, they're all closed. And we are restricted at the minute of how long we can go out, but there are lots of things that we can do to incorporate exercise into our daily routine. So if you go onto the Sport England website, they have a whole raft of information that will help you, that may, because not everyone's into the same thing. If you have a local gym membership, I know my gym, which is Nuffield, they have lots of online videos that help, as well as Les Mills have an app, Les Mills On Demand. They did have free access until the end of April. I'm not sure if they've extended it, so maybe check that out. But you may get a free month's trial if you sign up anyway. I personally have been doing some YouTube videos. They come in a range of time series. So if you're sitting at your laptop and your brain's feeling a bit dead, maybe not being overly productive, why not kind of look on YouTube for, if you want to tone your arms, get a 5-minute video for that, or there's HIIT, for 15 minutes, HIIT exercises, etc. So HIIT, is high intensity exercise for a short period of time, which is supposed to build our tone loads and burn lots of calories. And then recently, and you'll see a photo at the end, I discovered the Down Dog yoga app. So this app actually allows you, it can go into the Zoom kind of profile, and you can literally do a yoga, a HIIT, Pilates class, whatever they have on their catalogue with your friends. So they can all see you doing it, which keeps with the motivation. You don't need to sign up, which is fantastic. You just go onto the website, click on what you want to do, hey presto, away you go. Now, do you need to adapt what you're eating if you've started to exercise a little bit more? And the answer is it depends. The general rule of thumb is that if you aren't exercising for more than an hour, you really don't need to take anything on board. And a healthy, balanced diet really is sufficient. So that's things that, we really need to base our meals around starchy carbohydrates to include whole grains where possible. Aim for 5 different fruit and vegetables per day. One portion is one handful for you as an individual. And make sure that you aim for the different colours. Include milk and dairy as part of your diet, but always opt for the lower fat options. If it's an alternative, you need to make sure that it's the nutritional equivalent of the animal version. Consume a variety of plant and animal-based protein, which you should also aim for fish twice a week, one of which should be oily, and also try and reduce your red and processed meat. Also, you need to drink little and often. So we are approximately 2% dehydrated before we actually feel thirsty. So that's why it's really important to just kind of, especially when you're working at home, if you're at your desk, just have a bottle of water or a cup of tea, and you can drink it, as you go along. And then also limit confectionery where possible. I know we're probably more inclined if we're at home to be eating a few more chocolates, etc. And yes, if we start to exercise, we can burn it off, but everything in moderation. It really is about the balance. Now, if you're exercising for more than an hour, you may need to start thinking about what to eat and plan it a little bit more. So, based on the research and the science, before exercise, you should aim for a high-carb but low-fat meal to top up your glycogen stores. And this will really mean that you can really start on full power rather than depleted stores, which won't give you enough strength to kind of get going. An example, of a good carbohydrate meal would be porridge for breakfast, a jacket potato with salad maybe for lunch, and a stir fry for dinner. You also need to top up your hydration levels. So again, it says 2 to 3 hours before, but if you just drink little and often, monitor the colour of your urine, it should be a pale yellow, your hydration levels should be fine. You can maximise then your glycogen stores or your muscle stores before you start by just having a sugary carbohydrate snack within 30 minutes before. And so that would really be a piece of fruit, cereal bar, even a handful of dried fruit. Now, it is really important that it's essentially a healthy, balanced diet. And, if you're just doing a little over, an hour, I wouldn't really say you need to fuel like this. It's really if you're doing 3-4 hours, that's when you'll need to start taking things on board, and if you're doing a higher intensity form of exercise. During then, so again, you only really need to start taking something on board after 60 minutes. I would consider the intensity of exercise that you're doing as well. And they recommend between 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrate per hour. Now, what does that really amount to, in actual food? So, I would say a piece of fruit, so like a banana, orange, apple, handful of dried fruit, or a cereal bar would be around 30 grams of carbohydrate on average. Then after, it really is important that you recover effectively, because if you're going to continue doing training for whatever you're training for, you need to maximize that training. And if you don't refuel appropriately, then the next session that you start, it just won't be as effective. You'll feel really demotivated, which then may result in you not training the next day, and so on. So aim for a high carbohydrate and protein snack within 20 minutes of completing. Again, I must note that this is for higher intensity, longer periods of exercise. And a really good snack is a milkshake. You've got the milk proteins and the milk sugars in a milkshake, a cereal bar with dried fruit and nuts as part of it, because again, you've got your starchy carbohydrates, you've got your sugary carbohydrates in the dried fruit, and the nuts will also provide you some protein. Really healthy snack. Doesn't need to be, one of these protein bars or any of these supplements. Just wholesome food is enough to start off with. Then, after within 3 to 4 hours, you really want to maximize the glycogen storage or the muscle glycogen storage, and have a high carbohydrate meal. So again, that would just be based on the principles of a healthy, balanced diet. Chili con carne, so you've got your carbohydrate in the rice, you've got your chili, so you've got your meat and the mince and the protein, add some peppers or something, you've got the veg, it's really just a balanced meal. So just some motivators, kind of keep you going, during lockdown. It's important to get into a routine, but routine does not necessarily mean to say you have to do it at the same time every single day. I personally know with my job, if I say, oh, I'm going to do this at, lunch, I'm going to go for a cycle at lunch or a run, that would be the one day I wouldn't be able to go because someone would either ring me or I'd have a call booked in. So fit it into your daily routine. It could just be that you say, right, I'm going to exercise for 20 minutes every day at some point, and fit it in. And don't be discouraged, if you do miss it. Commit. So commit to yourself, that you want to do something, or, commit with your friends. As I said, there's lots of Zoom sessions that you can do to kind of make it a little bit more like a class. Set some targets, is there something you want to achieve? Do you want to, run 5K within a certain time frame? Have you never run in your life, but you want to start? Set a target, of what you want to achieve what is your end point? And again, there are lots of things online that can help support you. I know the NHS has Couch to 5K going, you may want to join that, etc. Also monitor. So if you're going to set targets, you want to monitor how you're getting on. You record your sessions somewhere. If you have a fitness watch, that may help because it does it for you. And you can also track your calories on that, so you know how much you've burned versus how hard you tried in that session, etc. So that's a good way of doing it. And then track. So this could be against maybe your age category, how far should I be running, or how fast should I be running for the average male, or this height, what should I be doing, etc. But again, don't be disheartened if you're not on target with where you want to be, if you're not motivated on a particular day, that is also okay. So just use these tools to help, but just kind of help motivate you. And just to finish off, I wanted to share some of the team's experiences of on how they feel exercise makes them feel. So we have Ronnie Kelman, he loves cycling. And I'm not going to go through and read them all, you can read them yourselves. Jen, the HR manager for offshore, she does lots of exercise at home and has got lots of tips. There I am with my husband cycling. He got me into that last year. And also, the Zoom class that I did last week, us all kind of doing our yoga pose. It was quite surreal, but good fun to do. And just a reminder, we have Nourished Life within Compass Group. So this is a lifestyle website. So if you want any tips, advice, recipes, nutrition information, lifestyle, mental health, etc., please do visit. And if you have any specific questions for myself or my colleague individually, just send us an email at essnutrition@compass-group.co.uk. And just a reminder for next week, as this is a series, we plan to do one every week. It is going to be how can we maintain our immune system. We're going to talk about how food can support you, bust some of the myths out there, as there are plenty, and also it isn't just about food in terms of supporting your immune system. So please do join us next week. Thank you.